iOS 10.3.2 Public Beta 5 for your iPhone 5S review coming up right now. Let's go. So what is up guys, Nick here, help you to master your technology, and welcome to the iOS 10.3.2 Public Beta 5 review for your Apple iPhone 5S. Now I've been a little bit behind on the 5S because I've been doing Galaxy S8 coverage here, but you can see this update is 1.7 gigabytes. It's not really that much unless you're just first downloading the beta profile, which I did for this review here. And this is a very small update. You know, iOS 10.3.1 and 10.3 brought the bigger changes, the Apple file system, Find My AirPods, and huge tweaks to CarPlay and things like that, Find Siri, kick commands, and stuff like that. So, you know, this one is a very minor update, even though it says 1.7 gigabytes. If you do have iOS 10.3.2 Public Beta 3 or 4. This is actually like a 200 megabyte update here for the 5S. So nothing significant here, but before we go ahead and update, I am on iOS 10.3.1 here. So let me go ahead and do the Geekbench score here for this, and then we will go ahead and do it again once we do get on the latest version. This is going to be a short video because there's no significant changes here in terms of visuals and stuff like that, but we do want to see if the performance does increase here for the iPhone 5S if you do update to this beta. I am running the official version, so we will run through a little bit of a speed test when we get in the beta to see if we can find any bugs or hiccups or anything like that in the app department, the stuff we use day to day. So I'm going to run this and I'll be right back. Alright guys, so the Geekbench is done here for the Apple iPhone 5S. You can see 1324 on the single core and 2242 on the multi-core score. Now remember those scores for when we go ahead and update into the iOS 10.3.2 Public Beta 5. So let's go ahead and go back into settings and hit download and install here. So let's go into settings and hit download and install. Now this is going to take a while, so I'm definitely going to pause the camera and be back. Guys, so the iOS 10.3.2 Public Beta 5 has installed here for the Apple iPhone 5S here. So I do have a new fresh install here, so I do have to set this up really quickly. And as you can see here, just a minor update, no visual changes as expected. iOS hardly ever brings visual changes unless it's a major release, like iOS 11 might bring some visual changes later this year. Well, that's at least what we're hoping here. So going into settings here, if I go down into general and I go into about, you'll see that we are on version iOS 10.3 14F 5089A. So that is the public beta 5 version here for iOS 10.3.2, and nothing really has changed here from public beta 4 or even iOS 10.3.1. So if you guys are on iOS 10.3.1, I recommend you don't do this update unless you really just want to be on the cutting edge of Apple updates, but really you're getting nothing over 10.3.1 here that you're going to even notice in your day-to-day life, but you do get a higher risk of security every time you're on a beta version. So I do think you should just stay on iOS 10.3.1 if you're there on that official version. Just wait for the official 10.3.2. But let's go ahead and run Geekbench as promised, and we're going to see if the scores have changed here. Alright guys, so our final Geekbench scores are in here for public beta 5, and it's 1314 on the single core and 2240 on the multi-core. Now if you're paying attention to the previous scores, that's actually lower here for the beta 5 version. Does that mean you shouldn't update to the latest version of iOS? No, that does not mean that necessarily. These scores could be, you know, flawed here and there, but I did want to show you that it did decrease in this testing here. So going home, obviously the iPhone 5S still runs about the same. There's no difference here at all. And if you guys are on iOS 10.3.1, I do recommend that you don't do this update just because, you know, 10.3.2, all the betas don't really bring any change that you're going to notice or see on a daily basis. Even feature set, there's no real increase in the feature set here. So if you're on the official, you've seen that little lag there. If you're on the official iOS 10.3.1 for your iPhone 5S or even another official version, just stay there. But I would recommend you update to 10.3.1, but just hold off to 10.3.2 if you are on a 5S, the official 10.3.2, which should be dropping here soon. Anyway, expect to see major changes to iOS 11 here in June, which the iPhone 5S will support as it is a 64-bit device. Not sure if the iPhone 5 devices will support that in the iPhone 5C, but this one should be no problem here whatsoever. So anyway, that's it here for the iPhone 5S iOS 10.3.2 10.2 public beta 5 review. It's very short, didn't want to go too long. There's not much to see here. Anyways, if you got any questions, comments, concerns, drop them down below in the comment section of this video. Nick here, help you to master your technology. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Be sure to be well, and peace.